Jesus is our one. There's just not words to describe him. Our messages in this series have been an effort to do that. That's what you get when you let the non-IT person handle things. And this morning, we continue a message, name above all names. I mean, his name is just, we're down here, he's up here. There's just no question about it. This morning, Pastor John asked me to speak on the Messiah. And when we hear that word, as Christians, we look at that word and we see a very majestic, we see God. Well, for Israel, that really wasn't the case. If you look up the Hebrew word for Messiah, it literally means anointed one. They used this term to refer to their kings. It could be used to refer to the judges. These people were people who were brought before the nation to lead them by God. They were brought by God. God said, I'm going to put my hand upon you. He told Moses, my hand's on you, don't worry. They will follow you because my hand is there. Because you are with me and I'm with you. He told Joshua, wherever you go, you can do it with courage, knowing that I am there, and every place you put your foot will become part of Israel. And the judges through the years, Israel, they waxed and waned in their faith. Not that much different than today. And he would rise up a person, bring up a person from a low level. And one of my favorite was Gideon. Couldn't have gotten much lower than Gideon. And he raised him up and he anointed him. And Gideon led the people, led 300 men against thousands and defeated his enemy. He raised up a woman in Deborah. Deborah was a Messiah, by the definition of their term. She was raised up. She was anointed by God to lead the people. David, the Messiah of Israel, he would be their stereotypic Messiah. A man of a ruggedly handsome man with strength and brains, but a man who loved God and he did everything for God. Solomon was anointed and king. He was anointed and king and a man with wisdom. God asked him, what is it you want? Solomon said, I want wisdom. I want to know what you know. And of course the prophets. They were the anointed, for lack of a better term, the anointed mouthpieces of God. They spoke for God so that the people would understand what he wanted from them. So we can understand the confusion that they might have when Jesus came on the scene. Here's a man, son of a carpenter. And I wish I could come up with a better term than this, but to them, the bastard son of a woman. To them, he had a father in Joseph. Joseph stepped up, but they couldn't accept that God was his father. They thought he was born out of wedlock. Most people said it was probably attested it that he's just Joseph's son, but not necessarily true. They may have thought it was something else, but Joseph stepped up. Joseph was a Messiah. He stepped up with the hand of God on him and raised Jesus in a godly manner. Not that I think Jesus had much choice in the matter, because God's hand was on him also, leading and guiding him all through his childhood. If you remember back to Luke, Sunday school this morning, Tabitha mentioned that Mary freaking out over losing Jesus in Jerusalem when they went to Jerusalem. And it was 2 days, and they realized, hey, wait a minute, where's Jesus? Well, where was he? He was in the house of his Father. He knew where he was going and what was going on. He knew that God's hand and God's anointing ran through him. So Jesus is the Anointed One, the Messiah, the Son, the King, the High Priest, and for us, most importantly, Savior. Jesus provided salvation as no other person could. Remember, the Old Testament law said that when you sinned, you had to offer a blood offering of an animal, particular animals, for particular sins. But only one sacrifice could atone for all of mankind collectively. And that would be the Son. Only the Son has the power and the authority